Hey guys, we're here at GDC sitting down with the guys from Inkle, and we're going to be taking a look at Sorcery 3. So the first two Sorceries, very well received.
Yeah, it was a real thrill for us, making game books sexy again.
Yes. I really appreciated how it was like, not just putting a game book on a digital screen. It was actually thinking about how to make it more gamey, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think there's two big things for us, and the first one is to make it pacey, because it's a rip-roaring fantasy adventure with swords and goblins and trolls and spells. You want it to be exciting. You want it to like rip you through it. It's a pulp yarn, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is just making those game elements really solid.
Right.
Making a combat system, because it's a 4-part series. The combat system has got to last 4 parts.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you Sorcery 3 today, and one of the nice things about that is it's got some proper boss battles in it. It's got
cool.
You're fighting these 7 serpents out in the desert, and the first time you meet one, if you know the sorcery combat system, you've got your power bar, you've got their power bar.
Yeah.
I'm doing it with my fingers now.
Yeah.
Player's fingers, maybe, I don't know, holding a dime. The other fingers holding a, what, do you call it a HP pencil in America?
I don't know, that's like a roll of dimes. Yeah, maybe a pencil.
Yeah, okay, right. So these are pretty badass things. But it's possible to beat them, but you have to know your strategy.
Right.
So it's sort of like our version of Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
You're going out into the fantasy land, and you can explore, and you've got to take down these massive creatures if you can find them.
Awesome, if you can find them. Okay, so let's take a look at the new one here.
Okay, so this is set in the deserts and wastelands of the Backland. So this time we've gone for true epic. So it's a massive scale. You're going to be crossing a desert, through a forest, there's a marsh, there's a lake, there's a ruined city.
Wow.
There's a ton of stuff to discover. But if you play the previous Sorcery games, you'll know they're a journey across a wasteland. But there's one little difference this time, which is that it's... Well, we've changed one of the things. I don't know how to put it. We've made an open world game.
Huh.
So it's still Sorcery, but at any place you are on the map, you can go to anywhere.
Oh, really?
At any time.
So there was like sort of branching paths and stuff like that before.
Yeah. So this isn't really a branching path at all anymore. This is a map. You can
move
from any place on the map to anywhere else on the map.
That's really
kind
cool.
of a big deal for us, because our whole text engine is set up to allow you to go through in a kind of a forward momentum story where you journey across a map,
right.
and you never backtrack.
Right.
Whereas in this fantasy land, it's all about exploring and finding clues. And
so how do you do that with? I mean, you're based on stories that have been written already. They're established. You know what I mean? So how do you let people bounce around and do it in the order that they want?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of picking out episodes from the existing game book and kind of placing them cleverly, making some things trigger off other things. Maybe you meet someone who takes you somewhere which unlocks the next step.
Okay.
But also just quite a lot of just covering contingencies. We're in testing at the moment, and there's a lot of testing feedback that comes back and says, well, okay, I went here over this mountain like this, and then I went into the forest like that, and I got this thing. So when I came there, it told me I didn't know who this person was, but I did.
Yeah.
And we go, oh, God, yeah, we didn't even think that was possible.
Oh, man.
And really nice things. People finding different solutions to puzzles. So they'll find a magical artifact over here, and then bring it back all the way back over here and clobber something really fast. And you go, oh wow, that actually works. That's awesome.
Cool.
And then when these games work the best is when the games are paying attention and there's a sentence written specifically for you, the player who did this specific combination of things, and then it's kind of like magic when it notices and it tells you about that.
Wow. So we literally have lines that say, well, you travelled all the way there and all the way back, but it was worth it.
That's funny.
So we've had to change a couple of other things as well. Sorcery has a night and day mechanic. That's always been tied to where you are on the map. That doesn't work anymore because you can go anywhere.
Right.
So we've implemented a day-night cycle as well. So time passes as you move around. Overnight, it's more dangerous. There are monsters. You might want to find somewhere to shelter. Otherwise, you might get into trouble, and you'll meet different people on the roads at night than you will at day.
So it looked like you could kind of manipulate that?
Yeah. So, that's this feature down here. This is our new rewind system. So you can still rewind the story to any point, but of course, just picking a point on the map doesn't work anymore. So you can do this thing we call active rewind, which actually sort of drives you back through time to wherever you want to go in the story.
That's cool.
But there's one more feature. If that wasn't enough features, we've added one more feature, which we think is kind of super cool. So I want to demo that to you now. So I'm going to go up to this tower. The tower's missing from the map at the moment. So here we go. And it's covered in ivy, so I'm gonna look at that. That seems like something I could climb up, so I'm just gonna bust through the choices. Obviously, the story is describing what's going on. That's how sorcery works. So we'll just get to the top of this tower, and there's this curious brass telescope. There are 6 of these towers out in the place to explore in the backlands, and they contain a very old and ancient and interesting magic from the distant past, because once upon a time this land was inhabited. It was full of people, it was full of villages. It's now a wilderness and a wasteland. So we can actually reactivate one of these towers, and it is in fact a lighthouse. But if we just take a look at what's happened, it's not a lighthouse of light. It's a lighthouse of time.
Whoa.
So that beam is the same land 1,000 years in the past, and you can see even there's a little house there that's got a guy in it who you can go and meet because you've turned that on.
Weird.
So you've got the present and you've got the past to explore, but that's not quite the point. The point is that you can point it wherever you like.
Wow.
So while the success of the first 2 Sorcery games was in part to do with the beautiful hand-drawn map that we got Mike Schlade to draw, he's a fancy cartographer, he's very talented. But for this game, we've actually got 2 completely separate maps that just share the same geography, but you can poke holes in them, you can create time bubbles.
So you can look through the telescope, go back in time, do something, and that will affect your present time map?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got paradoxes, we've got burying things and digging them up in the future. We've got, I'll show you a simple puzzle from the tutorial. Spoilers, if you want to play the game, stop watching now. Here's a broken bridge, so you can't get past this fissure, and of course, you point the tower at it, you can go down the tower, climb the bridge. Over here, there's a cave, you'll find the bones of someone in it, point the tower at it, you can go and meet them.
Wow.
There are 6 towers, there are 6 beams, you can point them anywhere you like, they can cross over, they can intersect. There's a ton of stuff to explore and discover, all of it's bespoke, there are stories everywhere you go. This is the biggest Sorcery yet. It's bigger than Sorcery 2. But even on one time layer, it's massive, and it's kind of complicated. But the map has always been the best thing about Sorcery. It's the thing that everybody remembers, and we just thought, let's use it. I mean, the part 4 is set in a citadel. It's going to be a very different kind of game. So we thought this is our one big chance to really
go nuts with it.
Epic fantasy environment. How far can we push this? So, and in particular, just like the 3D effect has always been really nice. But like when you're adjusting that beam, I'll just get back to it. And you can keep doing it as much as you like. You really get down there, the camera gets nice and low, and it's a weird look, isn't it? It's a kind of hand-drawn map, but it's 3D, and it's a lot of fun.
That's beautiful. And so the other thing you mentioned were these big epic boss fights. Do you have any of those queued up, or is that
I don't. You're going to have to wait on that.
Okay.
Because I would have to play through the game and find.
I don't know if my brain could take any more mind-blowing stuff anyway. So
but I'll describe them to you quickly. The idea, there's kind of the core plot of the game is there are these 7 serpents. They're on their way to the Archmage to tell him if you're coming, unless you stop them. Some of them are hunting you. Some of them, to say they have AI is a bit strong, but a few of them will come and find you. So if you're sleeping rough overnight and you're weak, you might well get crept up on and completely smashed by one of these guys. It's a good idea to find safety, but they all have weaknesses if you can discover them. So going around the land, you're trying to find the clues that will help you defeat them cleverly. You might be helped by your gods and spirits. If you remember Sorcery, at the moment my character is the whale. We have, I think, 6 new gods in this game, including if you finish Sorcery 2 and burned Kare to the ground, the evil wizard Lorag will be cursing you the whole way, and he's like a buddy character. So there's a lot of stuff. So
you said this is on track for next month?
Yeah, that's the plan. We don't have a fixed date yet, but we're thinking mid-April.
Mid-April.
And it's going to be a simultaneous release on Android and iOS.
Oh, very cool.
Tablets and phones.
Okay.
So everybody's caught up to speed, and we're really excited. We've kind of, on the back of 80 Days, we've been sort of integrating a few of the ideas from that. And one of the things the open world day-night cycle thing gives us is how many days is it going to take you to cross the wasteland? So we track that now. Like every morning it says, you're on day 22, you're on day 25. And we're kind of looking forward to see what the internet can do, right? How fast can the people get across it? How fast can they get across it killing all the serpents? We don't even know what the best score is, so we're looking forward to finding that out.
That's very cool.
And it's just more Sorcery, bigger, badder than ever. But also some real actual puzzles as well, some time travel puzzles in there as well to go with the spellcasting. So we're pretty excited to see what people do.
It looked really awesome. The first 2 were great, and this one does look even better. So we'll be looking forward to seeing that next month. Thank you so much for the demo.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.